Hi, it's Joanne. Today I'm going to be watching The Wild, Season 2, Episode 5, Day 45/Day 16. The last episode was really intense and awful with how it ended with the boys, and I'm very stressed about Shelby and the secret she's carrying with the girls. So without further ado, let's remind everybody that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and then let's go.
Stupid crisis of conscience.
I had one of those myself recently, but now I'm over it. And I've never felt better.
She is a literal child, you monster.
And cut the hysterics, because I'm not falling for them.
What are you going to do with these children? The nerve that this guy has to be cross with Leah.
With a plan, we really did play each other.
Maybe she's a scared child and you're a sadistic bastard. What is their long-term goal with these children? Holy shit. He is being nice and helping them? That was his way of communicating where he was hiding something for her? Seriously? Okay, I take back some of my rage towards him. He is trying to help the terrified children. He is not the person you should be calling right now, sweetheart. He's really not. But I suppose they don't know that their parents knew it wasn't a short-term excursion. As far as they know, their parents should be looking for them. Yeah.
Some people say the ocean brings peace.
Yeah, well, having been out here an hour, I'd like to report
I
full of shit.
do not give a shit what you think.
It's the prospect of failure just sort of sitting on my chest.
You just torture some children for nothing, yeah?
Fucking boys won't fucking talk.
Maybe when you torture children, they don't always act how you want.
Look, you can't lose sight of the end game.
What do they think is going to happen? That's something that I genuinely don't understand here, that when they reveal this report, I don't care if these children signed off, if the parents didn't sign off on this. And if they did, the parents need to think long and hard about their parenting and their children should be taken away. If the parents truly did know what it was and they didn't think it was ever going to be a fun summer camp. But like, what? How? If suddenly in the news there was a report that, oh, scientists have tortured some children and they found an experiment result, I wouldn't give a shit how good the research was if you had tortured children to get it.
So you're ready to have this conversation?
Oof.
You're ready to admit that the problem, our real problem here, was your choice of operative?
Oof. So he was the operative because he looked like the kind of person that they'd support.
They're working as a team and they've already cracked food preservation.
Mm-hmm.
The girls are how many days ahead of them and they still haven't figured that one out.
It's not wrong. Because there is no such thing as girls are better than boys in this kind of regard. The patriarchy and toxic masculinity, yes, that is a huge problem. But individual people, no.
Just let her have a little food, baby.
This isn't funny. Now
You want a little kiss?
Oh my god. Oh, shit. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You weren't aiming. They all know you weren't aiming at her.
Something needed. Finding God is about faith, really. You can't just
Truly,
get it.
a huge part of my atheism, other than the fact that it's obvious in my opinion, stems from the fact that the people that find God, the people who didn't originally have God in their lives, have religion in their lives, who find it, they never do it when things are going well. It's just a coping mechanism, and right now, bloody hell, give Rachel every fucking coping mechanism she sees a coping mechanism, give it to her.
You know me, maybe like that's
They're gonna have a funeral for Nora.
funeral, you know.
If it helps you
Maybe
heal.
Maybe I need to bury her.
I can't. Part of what makes me convinced that Nora is alive is the fact that at no point have we seen Gretchen or anyone dealing with the fallout of her having died. Whether it's feeling guilt for themselves or whether it's anything else. I think, you know, we saw some of the fallout of that with Janine. And if it happened again, we would have seen it. I can't remember what Janine's real name was. Poor, foolish, brainwashed child that she was. I have to believe Nora's alive because I'm so confident we would have seen that. And even now, when they're talking about these debriefs, they would be thinking like one of them's dead.
I'll be here for you.
Just giving her necklace. That is a huge gesture. As much as I do think Shelby is struggling a bit with her faith more than before because her faith is very extreme and oppressive.
The milk in the fridge with the spout facing out.
how everything is always better when it's straight.
These children needed actual help, not torture.
It's not. And you glimpse something different.
This sadist is still like, I failed in my last interview, but I enjoy the power I have over these kids. I need to exert it. Get your comeuppance, bitch.
Why are you looking at me like that? All weird.
Nothing, man. It's just a good day is all.
These poor kids. It should have been the time they all pulled together. But there's a predator in their midst who should be in some kind of psychiatric facility where he's getting actual help. Where's Josh?
Where's Jaybird, huh? He get any? You know what? Maybe
They are pulling together.
Hungover. Probably should just like shoot Roth. Tell them what he told you. Tell them why he doesn't want to drink from the water supply. He doesn't want to abuse his white privilege.
Oh, Lord. So what, instead he's gonna die heroically of dehydration and make himself the center of the narrative when we get back home? Please.
Nice.
This is such interesting behavior because Seth, he's pulling the narrative. He's making Josh the outsider. He's reinforcing the obvious weak link, the fact that Josh is a bit awkward and he doesn't fit in as easily. And you even had someone like Kieran giving him like a little nickname and being like, has he eaten? But he's making sure Josh is on the outside so that in his mind, what he did will not be believed, potentially. This is a lot.
I mean, that boy's all messed up.
There should be warnings all over the place for people that have been through this.
Wait for it. Josh! Come hang out.
I feel like I just told you to let him chill, but okay.
Packs don't leave the weak on their own. It's against nature.
Hey!
Poor Josh. He's not okay, but I guess they all just do think he's hungover.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Like, between the alcohol and the salt on the meat, we weren't not gonna get thirsty. We just gotta hit the woods, find some fresh water. Come on, come on.
And he made sure Josh wouldn't drink as well.
Should we split? Should keep it moving.
Bless.
Me, Snowflake. I'll push your sad ass up the hill if it comes to that.
Let's go.
Great. Thanks, Kieran. Show me those
I know Kieran doesn't look like somebody that would be very understanding if you were to say, I was sexually assaulted by a member of our team last night. You worry that he might be like, oh, you got. I mean, you just have stereotypes in your head, and a lot of the things Kieran has done and said play to the jock stereotype. But I have to think this group would look out for Josh if he were to tell them. But victims struggle to tell of any kind of abuse like that and are so often not believed. It just... I'm so angry at Seth. I'm kind of like, in my, like, as a viewer, like, yes, I was right to know there were weird vibes. Brilliant acting, because the vibe, there was something off with him from the start. And just when you started to think, like, oh, it's just his, like, people-pleasing because of his mum, boom, he's a sexual predator.
First one, it's water.
God, is he planning on killing him so that he can't stop them? What was that? A code?
Rachel wants to bury it as part of the
Oh my god, is it the phone number she had to call?
just gonna get dirt all over it.
What the hell was that? All
Oh,
the way in, man. Feels fucking amazing.
peer pressure is fine.
Oh, you're getting in.
Oh, don't.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, in general, this is not a cool move. If somebody doesn't want to do something, you do not force them, but also, like, he doesn't have any idea of why this could be triggering.
Come on.
Oh, fuck.
Whoa. What is that on your stomach?
It's not the fucking problem. Seth is. Seth is the problem. He's the fucking problem. It wasn't me. I'm not the fucking problem.
Oh, Lord.
No, it's
Get off
okay.
me. I couldn't.
Okay.
Seth,
Tell him. Just tell him.
fucking problem, man. Man, the fucking problem.
You can see that there is something real here.
What happened, man?
A lot of pain hidden behind the toxic bro attitude.
That
Fuck.
it is early.
That isn't actually that stealthy. They could find that so easily. They didn't pull the experiment when their own operative cut all the mics.
They're not mattering.
Seriously? I don't care how sad your backstory is. And yes, I do think he needed actual help at some point in his life. Nora's fine. You're going to get reunited with her. I have to believe that. They are a group and a family. They have become that. And it's not some great win. The boys could have got there themselves.
Said that she'd sort out child services. So I fucking went for it.
Yep.
Strike you as weird?
Yes!
You met with Dawn? Yes, I'm not really interested in reopening some extremely closed doors that weren't good for me in the first place.
It's true though, right?
Said with love.
But Fatten, you know that there was a phone number on Nora's thing. You know Shelby's not okay for many reasons.
Because if they knew who I really was, I'd be dead to them anyway.
No one should live through this. And you would be better off without them.
Karen, no.
Oh shit.
Wouldn't, over and over.
And I keep changing my mind over and over, but you can't just sweep this shit under the
You
rug.
can't. There has to be something done.
There have to be consequences.
They do.
Oh, but I was drunk and I was all over the place, so who even knows and who's gonna believe
Sweet
me?
boy, I actually really respect Kieran for this response. I mean, I didn't think any of them wouldn't have this kind of response, but it would be so easy for him to keep up. If he really was the boneheaded jock all the way through that he acts, it would be really easy for him to not be actually concerned about this and to not even remotely be listening to Josh and to maybe just either brush it under the rug or be like, oh, you little weakling or whatever. You could see him being, not him, but someone along those lines. The fact that he actually is furious and the fact that he's thinking beyond just the basics. There is more to him than the jock he presents himself as, and he's doing himself a disservice by acting the jock.
Look, if you want me to chill, not say anything, not do anything, fine.
I actually really respect that.
Come on.
I really respect Kieran for this, actually. Like, way more than I did when they first arrived.
Here, take mine. Thanks, man.
Oh, he's trying too hard still.
How'd we go? Go? Here I thought you were off your game, but you saved the fucking day! Get your fucking
Fuck. I actually really respect Kieran. I wish he could have, I do think he should have contained his anger a little bit and tried to listen to Josh because Josh is the one, but at the same time, Seth knows what he did and he's still going up and touching Josh and ugh.
When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city.
I really thought this might be where it was
To
going.
see a marching band.
He said, son, when you grow up.
He said, son, when you grow up.
Did none of them know this, son?
The savior of the broken.
I love this.
The beat.
I may be doubting everything else, but not this.
She's the happiest in a lot of ways, the truest she's been.
I was on lookout.
Well, at least she's saying it. This is awful, but at least she's saying it.
But when I came back, the boat, the light it was gone. I was so afraid of my other life that I hesitated, and I missed our chance of being saved, and I fucked up. And I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm so glad she's told someone, and I'm so glad that Tony accepted her and understands.
It wouldn't have made a difference, okay?
Uh-huh.
If the boat was that far out the fire, it wouldn't have helped. Alright?
Exactly. Oh.
It's okay.
I'm so thankful because I just thought it was going to possibly come out in totally the wrong moment and that it could cause a huge fracture. Like, I think her actually just coming clean and telling her in this moment is everything and it's perfect and it shows how mature and wonderful and good and kind these girls are. I was really scared and I've been scared for a long time. I mean, maybe if the others find out, I don't know. People's tempers are all over the place. I was worried that, like, I don't know if it came up. I was worried.
Oh, but don't waste your time filling in the jobs because A, I am retired and B,
she's gonna figure something out.
Dr. Klein doesn't have to pay.
I'm no longer getting thrashed for no fucking reason.
Oh, fuck off.
He jacked off on him.
Kieran, let him explain.
There's not usually a rationale for sexual
No.
assault.
Okay, come on, we don't know that's what happened.
Let him talk. Josh, he walked down on me when I was in the middle of... Well,
No.
And that's it. And now somehow it's getting scrambled. Oh, shit.
Oh, this is how people get believed. He's built the whole group up around the cult of Seth so that now they could believe him in light of recent things, and that way victims don't get believed.
What the hell is going on? Why can't we hear anything?
Microphones must be malfunctioning.
You have camera footage of him cutting them.
Some smoking gun? Look, I mean...
Fuck you, Seth.
Josh, you literally...
You think I'd make up some sick lie about it?
No one would make this up.
Okay.
I really respect these guys.
This is getting out of hand.
I know that kind of scared when I see it. This is a whole mess.
I'm proud of most of these boys.
I'm not about to be on the wrong side of history, man.
Wait, come on.
I get why he's so codependent, and he sees someone that he's relied on Seth the whole time they've been here.
Looks like he's your family. You know him.
This is the key.
Talk. It's possible. What? Henry, what the fuck? What? I mean,
Your brother said he did it.
I didn't. I said it's possible.
He's out. We're kicking the motherfucker out of camp.
Can we just take a second?
No, I'm sorry. We're not being passive about this. Okay, we'll vote. Okay, it's the just and fair way to decide.
It's so hard, isn't it? Because I agree, kick him out the fuck out of camp. But I almost feel like we need to be like, we will give you a tiny amount of food every day in a spot 3 miles that way. You can get, like, you know, so he won't die. Because as much as I get heated about this, and I might say he should die, he shouldn't die. He should go to prison.
This is insane. This is completely off the rails. This is as civilized as possible, okay? All those in favor of protecting Josh and removing a toxic force.
I really respect these boys. This is a hard, awful conversation and situation.
I don't want to mess things up, and maybe I was just confused.
No.
Things are really confusing, and
this is just awful to watch.
Forget it.
He just wants to forget this. So.
I'm proud of you boys. Not you, fuck off. And Ruff, I'm somewhat disappointed, but I can understand with how everything is.
You are hereby expelled from this group.
If you truly believe him, go with him.
Camp Mike's 1.
I'm proud of those boys. That was not easy. And it will be hard to live going forwards. They have a really good bond now, and I have so much more respect for Kieran than I did before. Like, it's not even just that, like, because it could have been easy for him to hear what had happened and then to just be the aggro, like, raw and beat him up, which obviously there were elements of that, but we all want to beat up sexual assaulters. They deserve it to a degree. Again, not actually because I'm against any violence, a one punch can kill. But I get that. But the fact that he actually was quite articulate with it, and I mean, okay, admittedly, Josh was like, let's leave it. But I think at the end of the day, this is the right thing for Josh. And even if Josh was saying, let's leave it, it's not right. Because Seth would have continued to be there, being more and more invasive.
I'm sorry.
Apology fiercely rejected.
Huh.
You don't need to apologise.
Okay.
Now you need to own it.
What I need is to never fucking think about it again. And for everybody here to shut up about it. And that is just, it's not how it works. At all.
This is why they're not saying anything.
It just means that you are ready for you to just never tell anyone. Please.
I promise.
Oh.
I promise.
Yeah, I promise.
He is in an awkward position here. Put himself in it, but
I learned a lot.
nothing good in a lot of ways. Worried about Josh. His energy there seems strange. Fuck. They needed to end this experiment. When their one person that was on the inside was on the outside, they needed to end the experiment.
You're probably really sick of hearing this. You all must be.
None of them are, my love. They just want to help if they can, and they can't really.
Not even a little. By our sides.
Pedophile.
And they should.
What the actual fuck? Is she actually having a little bit of mental instability?
Leave us side.
So she'd know what number to call.
Holy shit.
Leah was not insane.
Nora's here.
What is she seeing? Just having a feeling?
It's time.
I told you! How can you let your sister continue to go through this? I know right now she's powerless to stop it. Does she regret everything she did when she joined this group? But time for what? Leah is definitely... needs a little bit of help. She's definitely hallucinating or seeing things that aren't there, but that doesn't mean that her other hunches and suspicions weren't right. And obviously her game or whatever, they're on to her. They know that she was using them to an extent, or she didn't go through with it. I'm just so scared for these girls and boys. I'm so scared for what the end result is, for how they get out of this experiment alive with their lives intact. I said it before and I'll say it again, if this show does not end with Gretchen and her little minions in prison, I will sue. Or at least start a very strongly worded petition. I got a lot more respect for Kieran in this episode. To a degree, like, yeah, he kind of was a bit aggro with everything, but he, at the end of the day, he listened to Josh and he believed him. It would be so easy for someone like Kieran, who looks the type you'd assume has always been the popular jock, you know, the handsome popular jock, all the girls want him, all the boys want to be him, oh, his life's just so smooth and easy. Now, obviously, we know no one's life is actually perfect and smooth and easy like that. But even with his own personal struggles, it would be easy for him to sort of not believe Josh, or to be like, as if Seth would do that, or anything like that. But the fact that he not only believed him, but he was filled with genuine rage on his behalf, and wanted to help look out for him, and was the first to promise when he was like, I cannot bear, this cannot become who I am. Because it is awful, it is true that as a society, it is not okay, you know, being a victim of sexual assault or domestic violence or whatever. You're not safe at any point, because people will always hold that over you, they will always know that of you, and it's not how it should be, but it is the way, it will always be reminded to him that he suffered it. And you could kind of hope that one day he could be at a point to be like, yeah, that I survived that, it didn't destroy me, it didn't affect me, but everyone deals with it differently, and stranded on an island with no help, no therapy, no adult, no one, he's doing the best he can. I'm a little worried by the vibes Josh was giving off in his final interview. Now, being aggressive and passive-aggressive at these interviewers, that is everything, and I'm here for it. But I'm almost worried that the experience of being on this island, in a lot of ways, it's had a lot of positive effects on people, especially on the girls. You know, we've seen them find the true natures of themselves and all that kind of thing. But I think it can also make you, when you have to survive, you can become the worst parts of yourself too. And just, I'm hopefully reading a bit too much into it, but given as well that Josh was sexually assaulted while here, I worry that maybe the person he's become isn't as nice as the person he used to be. But yes, stress. I'm sorry, I have a lot of respect for Kieran and the other boys for just stepping in and for doing the right thing. You know, to an extent, I don't think there's anything wrong. I think that they should have heard out what Seth had to say, because Seth has a right to a defense. His defense was shit. And I can understand why Ralph was unsure. Seth, since day one, has been getting Ralph on side. He has been Ralph's hype man. He has been the one that has been there for him, making him feel included, making him feel safe, making him feel special, and all the things that toxic people are good at doing. Do I think Seth deserves to be locked away and have the key thrown away? No. He is a kid at the end of the day. I think Seth really needs a extensive stay in a psychiatric facility, because we've already seen him attempt to drown his brother and then sexually assault somebody. These are two things that show he is a danger to others, and so should be locked up. I'm very concerned he's still on the island. It shows you what a terrible psychologist Gretchen is, that she did not see any of this coming with Seth. It just shows you that she is useless at her job. You know, this is very much and obviously when you do an experiment, you go into it thinking, I want to test if my hypothesis is true. That is the point of what she's doing. So yes, she's going into it somewhat biased, but she is really biased. Like, cannot bear the thought that it doesn't work out that way. At the end of the day, children are children. And the toxic patriarchal masculinity, that is the problem we need to deal with here. It's not these individual boys. They can form a society, they can protect each other, they can look out for each other. So I'm very worried about what happens next for them. They're like halfway through their time and the girls are nearing the end of theirs. It was a lot, it was quite emotional seeing them all stick up for Josh. And Ralph, I do think he's believing Josh more and more. But there's that part of you that does want to stick up for your friend, and I can understand that to a degree, but when there is evidence, if you're like, no, but it's my friend, I want to stick up for them. If you know your friend has hurt people, distance yourself. So, the girls. I meant to add something else I do think is that I didn't see any kind of warning before this episode. Now, obviously, if you had watched the previous episode, you would be expecting there to be more discussion of sexual assault in this one. But I do think that, like, when I saw the warning in the previous episode, I thought it might be somebody's backstory or a flashback or even more information about Martha's backstory. I definitely didn't think it was going to happen on the island. So, like, with Martha's, it was very much discussed in one episode, and then there are conversations that allude to it, but if you didn't watch her episode because it would be too triggering for you, you might not have picked up on it. So, yeah, I think maybe there should have been a warning on this one as well. But I think I'm proud of the boys for what they did. Now, just exiling Seth, it's hard that on a deserted island, will he die if he's exiled? There is one supply of water that they will have to share. Like, I almost feel like they needed to set up some kind of a drop-off for food or supplies for him or something that he could access, because we don't want you to die, we just want you away from us so we can be safe. Very worried about what he's going to do next. Then the girls. I absolutely adored Shelby and Tony this episode, as I have done from the start of this season and most of last season as well, once we got under her skin a little bit more. Because she is having a crisis right now of faith and everything, and I'm so glad that she told Tony, and I'm so glad that Tony said, I don't think it would have made a difference, because that boat was if it wasn't a trick, that boat was very far away and gone so quickly, I don't think it would have seen the extra smoke. I think the signal fire is a last-ditch attempt type of deal, rather than a surefire, the minute there's a boat on the horizon, we're saved. But I know she's been carrying that weight on her. And at the end of the day, if it takes you, if 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds of delay is enough for the boat to drive off, it was never going to see you in the first place. But I'm so glad that when she had Tony, saying, you're the most honest, wonderful person I know, Shelby's like, I'm awful, I didn't do the signal fire. I'm so glad that she told her, and I'm so glad that Tony just supported her. And I'm also glad that Tony is kind of getting her to talk more. I mean, they've already talked about their past, which is good, and their families, but is kind of getting her to keep talking about it, because it is something she is going through. An ongoing realization that, yes, before she was hiding who she was. She was hiding the person that she truly was because she didn't want to be rejected by her family and her faith. And now she's starting to realize that maybe that she wants to be true to who she is, but it doesn't make the being rejected by the people she cares about any easier. So it is a very hard path we're watching Shelby go down. I'm so glad she has Tony by her side. I was really concerned that the whole her not stoking the fire I don't know how it would come out randomly, but I was just convinced that it was going to come out in a TV show trope style of way, where it would come out in the wrong possible situation and everyone would be mad, and then everyone would hate on Shelby, and it just wouldn't. She's struggling enough as it is. But I'm really, really glad that it didn't, and I'm proud of these girls. The minute this conversation started, I would have been quite surprised had Tony been like, "What, you bitch?" I would have been like, I kind of see where you're coming from in terms of just being angry, but no, I'm absolutely so thankful of that they had the scenes they did have. And for Rachel struggling and Shelby trying to help her with her faith even while she's having her own crisis, they just all want to be there for her, and Rachel's going through grief, and at the end of the day she's going to get to scream in Nora's face one of these days. The nerve of these bitches. Like, they so could have had Nora wash up down the beach, like, oh my god, or walk along and be like, my God, I got washed off and I've been searching the island or something. But they pulled her out because Leah was too suspicious. Leah had proved it. This was a nice, clean-cut way of torturing these children even more. I cannot see a universe in which they published their research from this and everyone goes, oh, so he tortured those children, yay! they need prison time. It makes my blood boil. So my heart breaks for Rachel, and for Nora to see Rachel going through that and be powerless to stop it. Similarly, actually, on the boys' island, there will be video footage. If they have video footage of the beach, there is video footage of Seth crouching by this microphone, then Seth crouching by this microphone, then Seth crouching by this microphone as each one gets cut out. They should have called the experiment there and then. Once you're inside operative, the only one who knows what's going on is cutting the microphones. Fuck you. So it's very stressful. I'm very stressed. I'm just very stressed for everyone in general with where this is all going to end. I'm stressed for what's going to happen to the children on both sets of children on the islands going forward and in their camps or whatever. I absolutely adore the girls, their sense of family and community, the way they've gone through each other. I am proud of Leah for trying to put the things she obsesses over out of her head and to try and make a path forward healthier for herself. It's just so frustrating that the time that Fatin finds proof is the time when she's encouraged Leah to not spiral. And to be honest, while they are on the island, there is very little that they can do. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. And I'm pretty sure it was Shelby who demanded to see Leah and then gave her the note that said you were right or something. I don't, which then means that Shelby also has to figure it out. So I'm just so intrigued with where it's going to go next. This was a really good episode, a really tough episode in some areas, a really beautiful episode in others. I'm really growing to care for most of the boys a lot as well, and I'm scared for them. So yes, a reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and thank you so much for watching.